What's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Hartford Whalers Throwback franchise mode here in NHL 22. So in last episode, we took on the Washington Capitals in the first round, and we managed to beat them in 6 games. It was kind of a back-and-forth series, but J.S. Giguère really stole the show. Sean Burke was not playing good, and he got 2 losses in that series, but J.S. Giguère went a perfect 4-0 and posted really respectable numbers. 2 of them were shutout wins, so very much hoping that this team could play good again in the second round. We are going to be starting Sean Burke in the second round, but if he doesn't perform good again, obviously we will turn to Giguère, because maybe Giguère is just going to be that good playoff goalie he was in Anaheim in real life. But yeah, we're going to be taking on Pittsburgh in the second round. Obviously, we took them on last year in the first round, and we managed to upset them, so they're looking for a little bit of revenge on us. They do still have a really good roster, but they do have an injury right now to Peter Nedved. He will be returning for Game 4. But you can see that the roster is still really good with Jagr, Lemieux, Francis is still there. But the bottom 6 is a little bit weak in terms of the wingers, like Roach is down there, Volk, Johnson, Hicks. But once Nedved returns, obviously this team is going to knock out. Probably Roach is going to probably be scratched. And then this team is going to be looking a lot better than that. Defensively, you can see that they're pretty solid as well. They did bring in a couple pieces, it looks like, via free agency or via trade. They got Karkner, they got Konstantinov now, and they also got Joe Ricci. And in goalie-wise, Patrick Lalime has taken over that starting role from Tom Barrasso. And depth-wise, they brought in Gord Hines and Rob Zettler. So that is a look at the Pittsburgh Penguins team. Should be interesting to see who ends up winning this second round. So let's get into Game 1 and see if we could get ourselves to that conference finals. Obviously, last year we were knocked out by the Montreal Canadiens in this second round. So hoping for a little bit better of an outcome in this second round. But let me make sure that Sean Burke is in net first, because we are going to run with him for Game 1. Just to see what if he could get back his game he had during the regular season, because he was really good during the regular season with a .923 save percentage, but he's off to a really sluggish start in this postseason. So if he plays bad again, we will go back to Giguère until Giguère has a bad game, and then we'll go back to Burke. If needed, we could always call up Mazzotti. We could call up Legacy from the AHL, one of those 2 goalies too. So I am not too worried in terms of goaltending. Let's see what happens in Game 1. We got home ice advantage. Let's see if we could take a 1-0 series lead. First period, nicely done. Even first period, I like that, 0-0. It's always good to keep Mario Lemieux and Jagr off the score sheet for a period. That's definitely a win in my books. Shots are 10-7 in favor of us. It's an even game. Second period, 2-2. Still an even game, but some offense. I like that. But Jaromir Jagr has 2 goals for Penguins, which is not good, because once him and Lemieux get going, and then that's going to be a tough task for our team to win. So Castles and Emerson score our goals. It's 2-2. Shots are 25-18 in favor of Pittsburgh. Can we take the lead in this third period? Let's see what happens. We just got to contain Lemieux and Jagr. That's basically it. And then we need to find a way to score goals. Once Nedved returns, we also got to contain him, though, because he will return for Game 4, which is a bit scary. Come on, boys. Final few minutes here in Game 1. Are we going to overtime? Let's see. Are we going to OT? No, we're not. Are you kidding me? Sean Burke allows a goal with 12 seconds left from Ron Francis. And unfortunately, we're going to lose it in Game 1. With the shots being 34-32, we lose 3-2 on a last-minute goal. That is not a great way to start off a second round. Castles from Kravchuk and Burke. So Sean Burke picks up an assist. Interesting. Emerson from Caron and O'Neill. But yeah, Jagr, Lemieux, and Olchuk. The 2 of those goals, less than a minute apart. We got to find a way to contain Jagr and Lemieux. And then, yeah, Patrick Lalime was really good in that first game. So I am going to return back to J.S. Giguère, it looks like, just because it was another loss for Sean Burke. He's lost 3 games in 3 starts, while Giguère has been perfect so far. So we will go back to Jiggy. And we might rework our lines a little bit again, just to kind of see if it works better against a Pittsburgh Penguins team. Let's go Arvidsson back up and Caron back down. And I guess the rest of this will keep the same. You know what? Let's try Wesley up there and Chase on down. Let's just try something random like that. And if needed, we'll take Godiniuk out of the lineup and put in Kevin Haller again or something like that. Can we tie this series up at 1 apiece headed to Pittsburgh? Because I do not want to go down 0-2 to them, because they probably could win easily on home ice. So let's tie the series up here, boys. We got to win while Nedved's not in the lineup. First period, scoreless again. Okay, same outcome as last game. where we had a scoreless first period, which means maybe offense is coming in the second period. Shots are 10-9 in favor of us, but it is an even first period. Let's see what happens in the second period. Still scoreless. Wow, okay. So it's been a pretty even series to start off with. Very tight in terms of goal scoring. Like, we only lost that one last game in the final 12 seconds, so might come down to the last minute in this game as well, or overtime, who knows. Shots are 17-16 in favor of us. It is 0-0. Let's see what happens in this third period, see if we can find a way to get that lead. Come on, boys. Lemieux scores on the power play to start the third period. That's not good. Hey, but we answer right back. It's our captain, Kevin Dineen, so the captain's trading goals, but Jamie Baker scores for them, and they have the lead back. This is not on Jaguar right now, to be honest, though. It's on our team, and Derek King, who had a little bit of a rough first round, gets his first goal of the playoffs. It's now 2-2. And Jeff O'Neill, let's go. Jeff O'Neill had a really good first round. He gets us the lead, and Kevin Dineen seals the deal with an empty netter. A very offensive third period, and Jaguar is still perfect in the playoffs. He is 5-0 in 5 games. Wow. Didn't expect us to win that when they went up 2-1, to be honest. So Dineen from Chason and Stevens, King from Primo and Kravchuk, O'Neill from Caron at Chason's your game-winning goal, and Dineen from Kravchuk and Sanderson on the empty net. 3 stars of the game, Kevin Dineen gets first star, Chason the second star, and Kravchuk the third. Nicely done, boys. Wasn't expecting us to win when we were down 2-1 at that point, but we managed to. And yeah, Jay Jaguar has just been absolutely lights out in the playoffs. I don't know how he's been this good, but he is focused and he's dialed in. So we're definitely going to start him for the next game as well until he ends up losing a game, because he has not lost a game in 5 starts right now. So he definitely seems like the better of the 2 goalies to run with. And yeah, Sean Burke is probably not liking that he's being scratched for all these games, because he should be technically starting them, but he has not been that good. So definitely got to rely on young Jay Jaguar instead to get us those wins. So we have a 1-1 series headed into Pittsburgh. Can we take a 2-1 series lead here? That would be nice, because if we could win these games on the road, like if we could win this game, at least that would be good, because Nedved should return for game 4, but he might return for game 5. It's one of the 2 of those. And once he gets back into the lineup, that will give the Pittsburgh Penguins a little bit more of an edge, I'd say, in terms of their forward core. So anyways, let's get into game number 3 and see if Jay Jaguar can continue his perfect playoffs so far. First period of game 3, and it's 3-0 Pittsburgh. Oh, this is Jaguar's worst game for sure. 3 goals on 16 shots. We definitely got outplayed in the first period, so I wouldn't put it on Jaguar necessarily, but oh, that's a rough first period, especially for his winning streak. It might come to an end here. Yager gets 2 goals and Taka gets a goal. Their big guns are firing as well, so that's not great, because we definitely want Yager not to be scoring goals, but he is right now. Can we find a way back into this game in the second period? Like, if we could get 1 to 2 goals, at least maybe we have a chance to come back in the third. Second period, 3-1. Okay, that's good. At least Kevin Stevens, the former Penguin, gets us within 2 goals. Shots are 23-16 in favor of the Pens. Can we find a way to get this game somehow tied up in the third period and get those 2 goals? Let's see what happens. Come on, boys. Do it for Jiggy. And Lemieux scores. Okay, yeah, this one's over. We get a 5-on-3 power play, and we do not convert. But yeah, Jay Jaguar is going to lose his first game of the playoffs. And it's definitely his worst game, I'd say, of the bunch. But Cron gets a shorthanded goal to plus within 2. But it's probably too late. Yeah, it's going to be too late. That's unfortunate. And the Pittsburgh Penguins are going to win game 3, and now we are down. Or wait, is it game 3 or 4? Game 4, right? I don't even know. Actually, at this point. Now it's game 3, right? I don't even know what game it is anymore. But yeah, Yager and Lemieux are doing really well, so that's not good. Stevens from Svela and Primo, and Caron from Sanderson as that shorthanded goal. Yeah, that was Jaguar's worst game, so maybe we go back to Berkey for next game. Yeah, we're going to go back to Sean Burke for next game, because Jaguar doesn't have necessarily a long leash for the starting goalie, but damn, Jeff O'Neill's been injured with a mild concussion. He's out till the 8th, so he will be back for game 6 if there is one. But ew, that's not good. I mean, there is, yeah, I don't know. That's not a good injury to have. Let's go to the lines. He's leading us in points right now, so that's why it's a pretty big loss. Does Reinheim win faceoffs? No, he doesn't really. I thought he did, but maybe I didn't make his faceoff stats that good. Maybe we'll go to Robert Cron. Yeah, we'll go to Robert Cron as the third line center. Reinheim could play down there with Manderville and Rice. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And back to Sean Burke. And we will try and change up the defensive core a little bit. We'll take Godiniuk out. Go back to Kevin Haller just for a change. And go back to Chason Wishfela. Try and find something to get our team going a little bit better. Looks like Castles was banged up a little bit in the last game, but he is playing, so that's good. Okay, let's see if we can tie the series up at 2 apiece and rebound from that loss. Let's see if Sean Burke can get his first win of the playoffs, because he hasn't won yet. Let's see what happens. Come on, Berkey. You got to get back that starting role mojo, you know. First period of game number 4. And we're up 3-0. Let's go. Wow, okay, this is like the reverse of last game, since we were down 3-0 after one last game. Arvidsson scores, Wesley scores, and Robert Caron score. Shots are 14-7 in favor of the Penguins, but we have 3 goals on 7 shots, so Lalime might have got pulled after that first period. Let's see if we can add to this lead in the second period. 3-1, so the exact same type of thing, but Pittsburgh's now within 2 goals as Lemieux pulls them back into this game. Shots are 30-16 in favor of the Penguins, so Sean Burke's having a really good game. Can he hold on to this lead in the third period and get that first win of the playoffs for himself? Let's see what happens. Come on, boys. Penalty kill, nicely done. Power play for us early, but we do not convert. Just got to run time off the clock here. But looks like potentially we're going to have a tie series headed home, which is good. Penalty kill, nicely done again. And yep, we're going to have a tie series headed home. Is great news. Great rebound game defensively. Really good game for Sean Burke, because we definitely needed that from him. So Arvidsson from Caron and Emerson, that's his first goal of the playoffs, so good to see Arvidsson finally getting on the board. Wesley from Primo and Emerson, and Caron from Malik and Arvidsson. Nedved returned in that game. Yep, he had an assist in that game, which is interesting. So Burke gets first start, Barrasso gets second start because he was lights out after Lalime got pulled, and Glenn Wesley the third start of the game. Interesting. Okay, so we have a tie series headed home. Can we take a 3-2 series lead here? We are going to run with Sean Burke again. Yeah, we're going to run with Sean Burke again just because he had a good game for a change. And then maybe eventually we'll go back to J.S. Gare if Berkey isn't doing his job. So maybe those line changes helped with Sean Burke. Okay, let's get into game number 5. See if we could take a 3-2 series lead here. Because if we lose this game, it's going to be tough to win in Pittsburgh. First period of game number 5, and it's scoreless. We're outshooting 15-9, so Lalime's having a bounce back game for sure after he let in 3 goals in the first period in the last game. So very even first period, no goals against, no goals for. Can we take the lead in the second period? Second period, 1-1. I will take that, I guess. Rick Tocchet scores, and Jeff Sanderson ties the game up for us. Shots are pretty even, 25-23. It's a 1-1 game. Who's going to be the hero in this third period and give us the lead? Let's see what happens. Come on, boys. This is a crucial game in the series. And Jaromir Jagr scores. Jagr's been scoring so much in this round. There's like no way to contain that guy. No way to contain him. Power play for us. Can we tie the game? No, we can't. God damn it. Come on, boys. Berkey's having another strong game here. And are we going to be able to tie it? No, we're not. We lose 2-1 in game number 5. And unfortunately, we're 1 loss away from getting eliminated in the second round again, as we head back to Pittsburgh, which is kind of scary. Nedved's now got 2 assists in his first 2 games back. It's not good. Sanderson from Haller and Castles is the only goal for us. But yeah, Sean Burke played good again. But I think I am going to... should I go back to Jaguar? Oh, Jeff O'Neill's back for this game, which is huge for our team potentially. See if Jeff O'Neill could get something going for this team, because he's the leading point guy, I think, still. And in terms of defense, we're going to go back to the Godiniuk over Haller situation. And even though Sean Burke is starting to pick up his play a bit, we are going to go back to Jaguar just to see if J.S. Jaguar could force a Game 7. And then we have to try and make up our mind for a Game 7 who would be starting if that is the case. But Here we go, game number 6, real-time simulation. Can we fight off elimination and force a game 7 in the second round? Let's see what happens. Good start, Alex Godiniuk scores. He literally just got thrown into the lineup instead of Kevin Haller, and he scores immediately into the game, less than a minute in. And then we kill off a long penalty kill, which is great to see that, because that penalty kill has been struggling at times. Good way to start off this game. And it's going to be 1-0 for us after 1. The shots are 13-8 in favor of the Penguins. We have a 1-0 lead just because of a guy that just got thrown into the lineup. Let's see what happens in the second period. See if we could add to this lead a little bit and get some more insurance. And Gary Volk's going to tie the game at 1. Why is Sean Burke in net now? And Stu Barnes scores now too. Why is Burke in net? Didn't I just change it over to Jay Shiger? That's not good. We're down 2-1. We're being outshot badly. Final few minutes of the second period, and we are going to be trailing going into the third, 2-1, and we need to have a strong third period here if we want to stay alive. Shots 25-17 in favor of the Penguins. Who wants to be the hero and tie this game up and maybe get ourselves the lead here? Let's see what happens, guys. It's game 6. We need to win this game. Penalty kill early in the third. I don't know who took that penalty, but that was kind of a dumb move. We managed to kill off power play. We do not convert. Penalty kill. Nicely done. Come on, guys. We need somebody to step up here. Keith Primo, Robert Cron, Andrew Castles. I don't know who to call on. Hey, Kevin Dineen. Let's go. He ties the game up at 2 with a huge late goal that might have saved our season. Shots are 35-26 in favor of the Penguins, so I guess Burke is having a good game again, or maybe both goalies had a good game so far. But Kevin Dineen might have extended our season if we can find a way to get that OT winner here. Let's see what happens in overtime of Game 6. Can we stay alive and get to that conference finals? Potentially, yes, we can. Kevin Stevens, the former Penguin, has given us the win 3-2, and we are 1 win away also from going to the conference finals. It's going to be a very tough matchup against the Penguins team, as it's been a very back-and-forth series too. So Godiniuk from Emerson and O'Neill, Dineen with that big late goal from Sanders and Svela, and then Kevin Stevens steps up with his third from Chason and Svela. 3 stars of the game. Sean Burke gets first star, Gary Volk the second star, and Kevin Stevens the third. So Sean Burke has stepped up out of nowhere, so Burke is going to probably be starting for Game 7 because he's definitely playing a lot better as of these last 3 games. Can he get us to the conference finals? And if we win this game, we'd be taking on the Flyers, which is going to be a tough task because that Flyers team will have like Eric Lindros and whatnot. So yeah, Sean Burke is going to start again because he is definitely improving himself to being a good goalie. He's now up to a .921 save percentage. Obviously, if he doesn't play good in terms of if we get to the conference finals and he doesn't play good, we always have Jaguar, but Sean Burke is starting to heat up a bit, which is good. Get back to that regular season status. So let's get into game number 7. Waste no time, get into it, and see if we can knock out the Penguins for the second straight year and find ourselves in the conference finals for the first time. That'd be great. Real-time simulation, we got home ice advantage. Let's use it to our advantage and get ourselves a W here. And Terry Karkner, of all people, opens the scoring early on Sean Burke. That's not good. Why Terry Karkner, though, of all people? Kevin Dineen ties the game up for us, but Andrew Castles gives us the lead here early in the game. That's a good way to start it off for the offense. Like that, we're scoring goals early. Power play opportunity. We do not convert. Final few minutes of this first period, and there's a big late goal from Nelson Emerson to give us a 2-goal advantage going into the second. Shots are 10-8. We just got to keep on playing like this if we want to win. See what happens in the second period. But that was a good first period for a Game 7. Normally we always have bad first periods for Game 7s, or at least in my franchise modes I've had that happen before. Come on, boys. Just keep locking it down and add maybe a little bit more insurance just in case, because you never know about Yager and Lemieux. Final few minutes of the second period, and a very good defensive period. We are outshooting them 21-11. They only have 11 shots in 2 periods. We just got to lock down this period, and then Sean Burke would have literally had a very good series getting us back into this. Let's see what happens in this third period. See if we could lock it down and get ourselves to the conference finals. Come on, boys. Just lock it down. We're playing really good defensively in this game, not giving up a lot of chances. We're up by 2 goals. Just got to keep on it. Just got to keep on it. Final 5 minutes of this third period. And Stu Barnes with a really late goal, which is scary. Oh my goodness. No, don't do this to me, game. You gotta be joking me. I think we're gonna lose now, guys. I had faith in this team, but Stu Barnes with the goal with 2:55 left, and then Sean Burke allows another last-minute goal. That's the second time he's done that, I think, this playoff run. Shots are 31-22 in favor of us. Whoever scores the next goal is off to the conference finals. Whoever does not score, obviously, is going to be packing their bags a little bit early this season. Let's see what happens in overtime. Come on, boys. Do not blow this 3-1 lead. Do not blow it. Come on. Jeff Sanderson, somebody on our team, and it's the Penguins that score. See, I knew it. I knew it. This game is totally rigged. Ron Francis with the OT winner early, and Sean Burke, even though he came back and played really good in the last few games, completely blows this one. And unfortunately, we're going to be knocked out in 7 games in the second round. We had a 3-1 lead, and then we blow it in the final few minutes. God damn. We're the Toronto Maple Leafs. Kevin Dineen from Sanderson and Chason, Castle from Chason and Dineen, and Emerson from Arvidsson and Chason. So Chason had 3 assists, which is good, but that is unfortunate. We lose in 7 games in the second round, so back-to-back second round exits. Dineen got first star of the game, Chason the second star, and Stu Barnes the third. Oh, I wonder who's going to win the Stanley Cup for year number 2 then. But that is a big loss. The Penguins, I'd say, is probably one of the favorites to win the Stanley Cup. Let's take a look at our player stats in those 2 rounds. And then we will take a look at who wins the Stanley Cup and all that stuff. Playoff tree, awards, that type of stuff to wrap up this year. So Primo with 8 points in 13 games. He was kind of quiet in that second round. Castles had 8 points as well. Manderville 4 points. All of them in the first round, I think. Sanderson 11 points. Stevens 9 points. Cron 7. Arvidsson 4 points is a little bit disappointing. And Derek King was really not that great. I'm glad I only re-signed him for a 1-year contract. Because, yeah, 2 points in 13 games after you had 56 in a regular season is a pretty massive drop-off. Reinheim, no points in 2 games. Emerson, 11 points, was pretty good. Dineen was almost point per game. O'Neill had 9 points before his injury. And Rice only had 1 goal. So, yeah, a lot of players on the bottom 6 were a little bit disappointing. Chason was really good, 12 points in 13 games. Shvela had 7 points. Kravchuk had 6 points. Wesley 5 points. Malik 2 points. And then Godiniak and Haller had a point apiece. Goalie-wise, Jesse Garrett was phenomenal. And Sean Burke was kind of streaky. He was good at times, and he was really bad at times too. So, don't know really what to make of the goaltending situation in that thing. So there is that. Let's see who ends up winning the Stanley Cup for year number 2. Then we'll take a look at draft class and all that type of stuff. Who is going to win the Stanley Cup for the 97-98 season? It is going to be the San Jose Sharks. Interesting. So San Jose wins the Stanley Cup in this simulation before they do in real life. That's an interesting one. Who did they beat for the Stanley Cup? The Pittsburgh Penguins. Okay, so we had like a 2017 Stanley Cup Finals way early, like 20 years earlier. It's interesting. So the Penguins got to the finals, but they lose in 7 games. And Detroit almost got to the finals, but they lost to the Sharks in 5 in the conference finals. Interesting. San Jose, the Stanley Cup champions, huh? I want to take a look at their roster out of curiosity first, too. Who do they have on their Stanley Cup winning team? Bernie Nichols, who was really good. Ron Sutter, Victor Kozlov, Steve Kuwola, Johan Garpenlov, Jeff Reason, Sean Burr, Bob Airy, Owen Nolan, Sean Donovan, Pat Flatley, who they must have brought in, and Tony Granato. Doug Bogger, Todd Gill, Ali Afraidy, Doug Howda, Marty McSorley, and Marcus Ragnarsson. And goalie-wise, Eddie Belfour and Kelly Rudy. Interesting. So that's the Stanley Cup winning team in San Jose. Let's take a look at these awards. So San Jose wins the Stanley Cup. Philadelphia won the President's Trophy, and it was the San Jose and Pittsburgh Stanley Cup Finals. Individual award-wise, Matt Sundin is going to win the Art Ross. Wayne Gretzky wins the Hart, though. Brian Leach wins the Norris. I wish it was not the second straight year. Al McInnes won last year. Ziggy Palffy wins the Lady Byng. Brian Rolston wins the Calder. Johan Garpenlov wins the Conn Smythe. That's kind of weird. Ron Hextall wins the Vezina. He also wins the Jennings. Jason Smith is going to win the Bill Masterton. The Islanders head coach wins the Jack Adams. Pelle Eklund is going to win the Selke. That's an interesting one. Wayne Gretzky also wins to Lindsay, and Wayne Gretzky also wins to Maurice Richard. HL award-wise, any guys that I added? Sammy Paulson's going to award an award down there. Jamie McLennan. And that looks... Oh, wait, Brent Johnson as well. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. So those are the awards for the 1997-98 season. Final few things, let's simulate up for the retirements and draft class results and stuff like that. Draft lottery results. And we'll take a look at like progress reports and all that stuff. So a little bit of a longer episode again, but I apologize on that. So Montreal's got the first overall pick this year, which means who's the first overall pick in 98 again that I added? I can't even remember. But Montreal's got first, Sweden the second, and North America the third. Germany's also there, and Tampa Bay has a top 5 pick. Interesting. Who are the retirements for the 97-98 season? Did we lose anybody? Okay, let's sort this or check by actual players that we made. So Joe Mullen retires with the Vancouver Canucks, 80 points in 135 games. Peter Indicek also retires, 78 points. What else we got here? Gino Cavallini retires, 62 points. Craig McTavish retires. What else we got here for guys that made? Peter Lee retires at 43. And that might be it. Randy Cunningworth also retires. Yeah, that honestly might be almost it. Tim Hunter and Craig Ludwig also retire. And I think that's it. I think that is it. Yeah, that looks like it's probably it, unless there's a guy that played only like 5 games. Yeah, there's a lot of random guys that were just in the AHL. Hey, look, there's 2 of the same guy. 2 Arturs Koldas. Don't know why there's 2 of them, but apparently there is. Yeah, I think that's it for forwards and stuff like that. Goalie-wise, nobody, because those guys don't matter. So we did not lose a single player to retirement this year, which is good, which means Kevin Dineen and stuff like that will be back again for another season potentially. Coach retirement wise, we did not lose any coach. That's good. And let's take a look at that draft lottery, or not draft lottery, draft class, and progress reports and contract situation. That'll be it for this episode. So draft lottery result wise, oh yeah, LeCavalier is top 6. LeCavalier could go to Tampa Bay if Tampa Bay doesn't take an EA generated guy, which they probably are going to, which is unfortunate. But that would be interesting if they did take LeCavalier instead of Morrissey. So the best overall pick is this Silverthorne guy. A lot of EA generated players in this draft, it looks like. Cavalier, Richards I added. Who else did I add in this draft? Who else? Doesn't look like I added a lot of players to this draft class. Let's see, goalie-wise, I know, yeah, Raycroft is there. He's not medium elite, I can tell you that. And Amaki's there. Yeah, I guess I didn't add a lot of players to this draft class. So there is the draft class. Progress report-wise, let's see what we got. So, looks like we're getting some drop-off from Kevin Dineen a bit. Some statistical growth for some of these guys as well. And goalie-wise, no growth from Jan Shigure, which is kind of surprising with how he played in the playoffs. Legacy is up to a 78, so we might have to... We could always use him as a goalie, or we could trade away him. Use him as trade bait. Tikhonov has grown up a lot. He's up to a 60. That's pretty impressive. Ramsey's grown a lot, but he's only at 52 still. For prospect-wise, at least. DeMello's growing. Getzlav is growing. Inglis is growing. He's up to a 68. That's good to see. And that's pretty much that. Final theme, the contract situation for this upcoming offseason. Let's see what we got here. So Jeff Sanderson's the big one. He wants 7.4. So yeah, Jeff Sanderson's the big one. I don't really know about bringing back Derek King, to be honest. His playoffs were lackluster, so we might let him walk. Kevin Stevens, we could always bring back, but he is getting older. Glenn Wesley, I would like to bring back as a defensive core. Obviously, Merrick Malik, Jeff O'Neill will bring back. But guys like Paul Reinheim might leave. Stephen Rice, not too sure on. Like, there's definitely guys we could let go of, because Bouchard probably will take over a roster spot for either Godiniak or Haller next season. So there's that. And goalie-wise, the big one is Sean Burke. Do we bring back Sean Burke? He wants over $8 million. We do have other goalies in the system like Legacy and Mazzotti, but we could bring back Burke if we really need to. So anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Hartford Whalers franchise mode. So in next episode, we'll take it to another offseason, the draft and re-sign stage-wise. And we'll see if we can get this team to being better than they were the last 2 years. Like, I mean, getting to the second round is pretty impressive already with this type of roster. But we definitely need to keep on adding some pieces in free agency if we want to get this team a Stanley Cup before the end of this series. So I guys think down below, and I'll see you guys next time.